and they're basically measuring my love for my own father based off of what I post.
Paris Jackson's life has been marked by extraordinary highs, devastating lows, and a relentless search for truth. In 2017, at just 18 years old, she made headlines when she publicly stated that her father's death was not an accident, but a setup. Speaking with startling certainty, Paris revealed that Michael Jackson had warned her people wanted him dead. He had told her they would kill him one day, and even wrote letters expressing his fear for his life. Yet Paris hinted at something darker, still suggesting that seeking justice was like playing chess, a careful, strategic process that could not be rushed. Her statement left the world wondering, what does she really know, and why has her family fought so hard to keep certain truths hidden? Her story began decades earlier, in the late 1970s, when a teenage Michael Jackson made a playful pact with his sister LaToya and their friend Kathy Hilton. If any of them had a daughter, they would name her Paris. Kathy kept her promise in 1981, and Michael followed through on April 3, 1998, naming his daughter Paris Michael Catherine Jackson. The name carried even more meaning because Paris was reportedly conceived in the city of Paris during Michael's time there with his wife,
Hilton.
Debbie Rowe, but her birth also came wrapped in controversy. Michael and Debbie's 1996 marriage was widely seen as unconventional, rumored to be more of an arrangement than a romance. Debbie allegedly agreed to bear Michael's children and then step away, a claim reinforced when, after their 1999 divorce, she received a large settlement and, years later, reportedly gave up remaining parental rights for additional compensation. Lawyers denied it was about money, but the contrast between the sweet origin of Paris's name and the rumors surrounding her parents' relationship was striking. Growing up at Neverland Ranch, Paris lived a life of privilege and isolation. Michael's fears for his children's safety meant that Paris, along with her brothers Prince and Blanket, often wore masks in public, a strange and much discussed choice at the time. To Michael, the masks were a shield against paparazzi and potential kidnappers. To Paris as a child, they were just confusing. Only later did she understand her father's desire to protect their anonymity and give them a semblance of normal life. Her godparents, Elizabeth Taylor and Macaulay Culkin, also understood the pressures of fame and became important figures in her life, offering guidance and friendship. Until 6th grade, Paris was homeschooled at Neverland. After Michael's death in 2009, she entered a traditional school for the first time, overwhelmed by the challenge of fitting in. At just 11 years old, she stepped up to the microphone at her father's memorial and, through tears, told the world, "Ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine." It was raw, unplanned, and deeply human, a grieving daughter's voice breaking the hearts of millions. Michael's passing also brought legal battles over custody and finances. His estate, though hundreds of millions in debt, was expected to generate enormous revenue. The fight over guardianship was messy, with Michael's mother Catherine, nephew T.J. Jackson, and Debbie Rowe all involved. Through these unstable years, Paris tried to find her place. But her teenage years brought unimaginable pain. At 14, she was sexually assaulted by a much older stranger, a trauma she kept secret from everyone. By 15, she was using heroin and alcohol to numb herself, later describing herself as an addict. That same year, she attempted suicide, leaving a note and calling a hotline before being rushed to the hospital. It wasn't the only time. Paris later admitted to multiple attempts, hidden scars, and silent battles with depression. The pills prescribed for her depression were the same kind Michael had been given, a chilling reminder of her father's fate. Eventually, she stopped taking them, seeking other paths to healing. In 2020, after Paris Hilton's documentary exposed abuse at Provo Canyon School, Paris Jackson revealed she had also been sent to a so-called therapeutic boarding school for nearly 2 years. She spoke of emotional abuse, isolation, and being cut off from her family. Her revelations helped fuel the Breaking Code Silence movement, demanding reform for these institutions. In spite of her struggles, Paris began carving out her own identity in fashion, music, and acting. At 19, she signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Calvin Klein and later joined IMG Models alongside some of the biggest names in fashion. She worked with Chanel, Givenchy, and appeared on covers of Rolling Stone and Vogue. Her style evolved from punk grunge teen to high-fashion muse. Though she never abandoned her tattoos, piercings, or rebellious edge, acting was another avenue she pursued, appearing on Fox's Star in the film Gringo and taking bold roles like portraying Jesus in Habit, which sparked public outrage. She later joined American Horror Stories, proving her ability to handle darker, emotionally charged material. Her choices made it clear Pears wasn't afraid of controversy. Music, however, became her truest outlet. With then-partner Gabriel Glenn, she formed the Soundflowers, sharing their journey in the intimate docuseries Unfiltered. In 2018, she performed publicly for the first time at a charity event, drawing comparisons to Joni Mitchell after her breakup with Glenn in 2020. Pears released her haunting debut single Let Down, followed by her first solo album, Wilted, which topped the iTunes alternative chart within a day. Through it all, the shadow of her father's death lingered. In interviews, she has remained steadfast in her belief that Michael was murdered, referencing his own warnings to her. Yet she has chosen her words carefully, describing the fight for justice as a slow, strategic game. Paris's personal life has also found stability in recent years. In 2024, she became engaged to actor Justin Long. True to her spiritual path, she chose their wedding date based on astrological guidance. Her Wiccan beliefs, deep connection to nature, and training in Reiki reflect her focus on healing not just herself, but others. She has over 80 tattoos, many honoring her father, and serves as an ambassador for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, carrying on her godmother's philanthropic legacy. Financially, Pears has built impressive independence, with a net worth of around $150 million in 2025. While part of it comes from her father's estate, she has expanded her wealth through modeling, acting, music, and smart investments. Even when facing criticism such as performing on the anniversary of her father's death, she stands her ground, explaining her choices and honoring Michael in her own way. On January 7, 2025, Pears marked 5 years of sobriety. In a heartfelt Instagram post, she called herself an alcoholic and a heroin addict, but celebrated the life she had reclaimed: her music, her pets, her joy. "I can't believe I almost missed it all," she wrote. It was a reminder that, for all the tragedy and chaos, Paris Jackson's story is also one of resilience, self-discovery, and hope.